WRFG Atlanta.
Good morning blues will brighten up your day as you put on your shoes. Yeah, yeah. You know it's got to be the way to wake up each and every day on WRFG in Atlanta. Good morning blues.
Good morning, blues.
Okay, you have successfully flipped over to side two. Let me clean up a couple of pieces from the tail end of side one. The great Mr. Robert Finley and Sharecropper's Son. And I injected a little bit of Long John Baldry at the end because that's what the song made me think of with It Ain't Easy. And he was on my mind because I'd been talking to some chaps in London about some posters I had from 2005 that Baldry sent me to promote his September tour. Yes, it didn't happen. He died that summer. Anyway, on to some good news and some soulful things because we're going to have a very soulful session the second half with the fantastic Mr. Clarence Spady, who is an enormously entertaining chap with a wonderful voice, a terrific new album, and he's great fun. You're going to love it. I promise you're going to love the way you look, right? I'm saying that because you don't know him and I do, and it's his hat. It's his hat and his jacket. Mr. Daddy Cool. It's okay. But meanwhile, I just want to inject a little upbeat soul from London because I'm leaving this weekend, going to be there for a couple of weeks. And one of the things that I'm going to see over there is a lady called Sister Cookie. And you need to know who she is. And the only way to do that is really play you the music. This all started when I heard a song that I knew was not ancient, but pretty old. And I said, okay, that sounds familiar. There's an artist called Willie Jones. I'm going to play a different version. The Willie Jones song from late 50s, early 60s, Where's My Money? I got a live version. I think he's still around. This live version was only 5-6 years ago. Anyway, what happened was I heard Sister Cookie with the Soulful Orchestra of Turin doing their version of Where's My Money just a year or two ago. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, but I never got to catch up and see her. Anyway, boom, you know how things trigger. She had a brand new single last week. And that's kind of how this happened. And it's a cool thing. It's called You're Never More Than 7 Feet Away.
Makes no difference what you do. You don't notice them, though you see them. Thank you so much. You know, this next song that I'm about to do, to show you how things remain the same and the same things was relevant then is relevant now. And I wrote this song in 1963. It goes something like this. Woke up hungry this morning. I didn't have a piece of bread. I went downtown to the grocery store, but here's what the grocer said.
Where's my money?
Mr. Grocer, have mercy on me.
Where's my money?
I'm as hungry as I can be.
Where's my money?
My stomach is empty.
Where's my money?
I'm so hungry that I could die. Mr. Grocer, won't you give me a break? Can I have just one of them steaks?
Oh, no.
But I'm hungry.
Oh, no.
Well, you know, I went back to my room, but the landlord had knocked me out. I said, please, Mr. Landlord, give me a break. But he began to shout,
Where's my money?
Mr. Landlord, it's cold outside.
Where's my money?
Can't you see the tears in my eyes?
Where's my money?
Mr. Landlord, I need sleep.
Where's my money?
I'm about to fall out on my feet. Mr. Landlord, have pity on me. I'll give you your money next week.
Whoa, you know I woke up hungry this morning. Well, I didn't have a piece of bread. Well, I went downtown to the grocery store, but here's what the grocer said. Oh, Mr. Grocer, have mercy on me. I'm just so hungry as I can be. My stomach is empty inside. I feel so hungry that I could die. Mr. Grocer, won't you give me a break? Can I have just one of them steaks? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I say I went back into my room, but the landlord locked me out. I said, please, Mr. Landlord, give me a break. He began to shout. Oh, Mr. Landlord, it's cold outside. Can't you see the tears in my eyes? Oh, Mr. Landlord, I need sleep. I'm about to fall out on my feet. Mr. Landlord, have pity on me. I will pay you your money next week. Oh, no. Oh, whoa. Whoa, I say I went back into my room, but the landlord locked me out. I said, please, Mr. Landlord, give me a break. But he began to shout. Oh, Mr. Landlord, it's cold outside. Can't you see the tears in my eyes? Oh, Mr. Landlord, I need sleep. I'm about to fall out on my feet. Mr. Landlord, have pity on me. I will pay you your money next week.
Was the energetic and eclectic Miss Sister Cookie, who's around 30 years old, but came to London when she was 10 from Lagos, Nigeria. And the music, that's the brand new single, You're Never More Than 7 Feet Away, just out 2 or 3 days ago. And before that, the only other song that she has put out, had time to put out so far, that's her, the Sister Cookie and the Soulful Orchestra in Turin, doing that cover of Willie Jones, Where's My Money? And he jammed in the middle there doing a live version just a few years ago. But I know that the song was a long time ago. Just to give you an idea of what she's about, what she sounds like and everything, I get to see her next week. It's always an interesting combination when I hear things that are different. And as she describes it, she's into the roots and fruits of black music. What you don't know, or hopefully didn't know, I like to tell you things that you didn't know. She was one of the artists featured in the 2019 book 50 Women in the Blues. Yeah, see? So come out from under that rock, go listen to something a little different. It's got some bounce, has a little ska feel to it. That's fine, because so much of that music came from the islands in the first place anyway. But anyway, great stuff. She writes her own things from the times that she grew up. Not everything was always easy peasy like most of us, and she taught herself to play the piano. So anyway, going to be interesting. And now, on to the fantastic Mr. Clarence Spady. First, I got to tell you a little bit more about who, what, why, and where is behind the groovy hat and purple jacket of Mr. Serious on the album cover Surrender, because he is by no means serious, as you will find out. But there's a reason. If you stay tuned, you'll find out why. Clarence, to me, has a captivating and original voice. And I guess that's what, came through to me. Yes, he plays guitar, and he considers himself a guitarist, but as I'm not one, my ears were tuned in to this voice that you're going to hear. You've heard me play the album a couple of times in the last, I guess, throughout April and into May. It's really very good, and I really like the way it's presented. But anyway, that's not his first rodeo. He's 59, but he didn't really get kicked off till the mid-30s with a debut album, Nature of the Beast, in 96, which had Delta blues, rock, R&B, and funk, and he still does a myriad of things. It's not a one-size-fits-all album, the new one called Surrender. And that's what I love about it. I get so bored so easily these days that it's nice to hear something that dips in and out of lots of things. He had a second album called Just Between Us around 2008. And I've forgotten the title of the one a few years later. But anyway, he's from Paterson, New Jersey. Family, I guess, was from other places. I didn't really get around to asking him. And I should find out more. But that's what he's been doing, and he's still into all kinds of things. But he and I have some common traits. We know quite a few of the same people musically. He's friends with people actually, if you listen to the music. Grant Green Jr., who's right here. They know each other, and a few other people like that. But we grew up on the same music, and it's super interesting to me to hear somebody around my age from a completely different part of the world, but because of his relations and stuff, we were listening to the same things. The other thing we have in common is he lost his son Khalik a few years ago, as did I. We lost our son Mike 4 years ago. And those probably are, I would say, out of everything, the toughest things to deal with when you look backwards. So anyway, he himself is an absolute charmer. He's very fit. He's very fit. And he's a snappy dresser. And I don't believe for 1 second that if you heard his voice, you would think of him the way that he looks. So just keep that thought. And we're going to chat to him right now about this fantastic new album.
Greetings, WRFG friends and family. We have successfully completed our Spring Fund Drive, and we would like to thank all of you who have contributed. We're grateful for all of you who, even through these unprecedented times, have taken the time to show your financial appreciation for our valiant efforts to continue our 24/7, 365 unique, diverse, eclectic, and progressive programming. It's encouraging to know that as we do our best to be there for you, you'll do your best to be here for us. Those who have not yet taken the opportunity to contribute or to fulfill your pledge can still do so by going to our website, wrfg.org, or uploading our WRFG app, or using Cash App at $WRFG893. and the good old-fashioned way by snail mailing your check or your money orders to WRFG Radio, 1083 Austin Avenue Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, 30307. Thanks again for your ongoing support, and please continue to be safe, edutained, and informed by keeping WRFG on whenever, wherever, and however you choose to listen to us. In Atlanta, we're 89.3 FM, and on the World Wide Web, WRFG.org, your listener-sponsored and supported community radio station for progressive information and hand-picked quality music.
Well, it's Good Morning Blues on a Thursday. I am very pleased to let you have a chat with the owner of one of my favorite new albums, Mr. Clarence Spady. Morning, Clarence.
Hey, good morning. UK Bob.
So, you're not too crazy this time of day, so I can at least get to talk to you about some of the beautiful things on this album, Surrender, as to how it came around. But one of the first things that hit me, and I know I shouldn't do this, but the cover, that great cover, I mean, you can't help it. When you're used to buying albums for the last 50 years, it's the visual that gets you, and that is a fabulous cover. The color, the texture in the grain, even though you can't necessarily feel it, it looks like you can feel it. So that was a great job.
Yeah, that was actually a great shot. That was a good friend of mine, Rob Lettieri. He's a photographer here in Scranton, PA. And that's pretty much the look he was looking for. He goes, if we're going to synchronize this with the title of the album, I want you to look like you surrendered. And you need to have that. Yeah, the full force of it in the background.
Well, that was the thing that got me, is because now I understand why, because my word was solemn. You look very solemn. And I thought, I don't know you, but I don't think that's you. I think you're the guy that laughs a lot. And so I said, there's a lot going on there that you have to think about, but that makes sense. It's also one of those things, it's a great color. You know, I'm into purple, so that always helps. But yeah, no, so that's what got me. I thought, hey, I wonder what this is. Let me have a listen. And then I was knocked out with your voice. And I guess my question is, I can read all day long, but do you consider yourself a singer first and guitarist second, or reverse?
I consider myself a guitarist first and a singer second. And that's funny you ask that. I tell people that all the time. I didn't really start singing lead until the mid-'90s when I first put my first blues band together in the Scranton area.
It's interesting because I got to tell you, you got a hell of a voice, and I don't know who you paid off, but, you know, considering that we both know that you're not 30 anymore, you still sound like it.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's years of Marlboro Lights and and blended scotch, I guess.
Well, that's it. Those are the two things, you know. If we had Grant Green here and we were in London, you'd have to use the word Capstan Full Strength, and those are filterless English cigarettes. They will rip your lungs out, you know.
Yeah.
But no, it really is, and particularly, you know, the song that really kicked me was When My Blood Runs Cold. Your voice on that is just superb. But I also didn't know until I read. I listen first, then I read second. I want my own opinions on what I'm hearing before, you know, I get into stuff. But I did read that it was a tribute to Lucky Peterson. The fact that you got to spend so much time with him, how cool is that?
That was way cool. And, you know, we had a great relationship together. And, you know, he was one gifted, very talented musician. And his spirit was great, too. So that way, when you combine the two, his musicianship along with his spirit, that was a winning combination. And, you know, we both shared the same demons as well as angels.
Yeah, but, you know, sometimes you need both for yin and yang, and it brings you closer together, don't you think?
It brought us, we were inseparable.
But, no, I think it was terrific that you had that opportunity and the way that the two of you melted together. But certainly in that song, it super stands out, you know. And
when I first heard,
we just lost him, what, a year ago?
Yeah, like a year ago. And it's funny, UK Bob, because when I first heard that song, he had missed his connecting flight out of New York. And he ended up staying for a few days. And I just randomly drove to New York, and he was at the club that I was going to, and I didn't even know he was playing that night. And he sat down and started playing, and that was the song that he played, and it just knocked me off my feet. I was like, wow, that's a powerful song. And we got to chatting on break. I said, Lucky, I have to plagiarize you. One of these days, I'd love to record When the Blood Runs. He goes, man, recorded them all. Recorded them all.
Well, some people think it's a great compliment, you know, and some people want to protect. But he seemed the kind of guy that would embrace anybody repeating something he did. I always loved his album covers because the guy knew how to dress, you know?
Yes, he was a very good dresser.
Yeah. But it's a shame because I think he was only mid-50s. He lived in Dallas. My daughter lives in Dallas. And I'm pretty sure he was only mid-50s when he passed, so it was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, like mid to late 50s. We were around the same age. I'm 59. We had to be about 57, 56, maybe 58.
So
I don't
anyway,
want to keep guessing.
Yeah, it's great that you were able to do something to combine all of that information, the fact that you made a close friend and a talent and grabbed one of his songs and, you know, took it to another level because it certainly stands out on this album. And a great opportunity. We'll jump in and let our audience hear what we're talking about. Those of you that are tuning in late, you're talking to Clarence Spady, who's somewhere up in deepest, darkest Pennsylvania or Jersey. I'm not quite sure where you are today, but the point is we're talking about this fabulous new release. Comes out, I believe, on May the 21st, called Surrender. You can't miss it because it has this amazing cover with this really good-looking dude wearing a hat, and I don't know what that's got to do with you. But anyway, we've been talking about the song that caught my attention. We're going to play it for you now so that you also can get some attention. When My Blood Runs.
One day, baby, when the blood runs cold in my veins, one day, sugar, when the blood runs cold in my veins, you won't be able to hurt me. My poor heart won't feel the pain. Cook and I clean for you, baby.
try to be the best that I can. You know I cook and I clean, honey. And I try to be the best that I can. I know you think I'm your fool, 'cause I know you're with your other man.
This is Dana Gillespie from London, England, to tell you about the second best way to wake up. Just tune in to UK Bob and his Good Morning Blues show and feel good for 4 hours on WRFG Atlanta.
So that's a great slow track, but the music that you play on this album is all over. It's not just one thing. I often was picking up on a lot of different sounds, you know, little soul, a little jazz. It has some blues elements, but it's not necessarily a blues album in the traditional sense. It's very contemporary. One of those things where everything feels familiar, but it's not retro. Does that make any sense? It's modern, classy.
Well, you know, I wanted to stay somewhere with the traditional blues sound, and I also, in all my albums, try and incorporate a little contemporary sound with it as well. So I didn't have the opportunity to do that with other record companies I was signed with, and Sally gave me full liberty to do whatever my heart felt, and that's the way we went with it. I try and keep each CD eclectic in that sense.
No, well, that definitely was the case. You felt that when you're playing through all the different things going on. By the way, excellent band. Again, like you, apologize. I don't know who they are, but they certainly know their stuff and appear to have a lot of great background as to how they got where they got. So another good reason to put something together with a group of people like that, because the end result shows.
Oh, definitely. My bass player, Johnny Ventry, he's been with me 8 years. Bob O'Connell, my regular keyboard player, was with me for 21 years. Unfortunately, he got sick before the recording and is currently still in the hospital. He's been in the hospital for 5 months.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was just like one thing after the other, one thing after the other. And if anybody has been through it, this man has. And he's no young buck either. So thank God he's in the rehabilitative stage now. So we're really looking forward to him coming home. To replace him, I got Scott Brown on. He did all the keyboard work for me. And Pat Marcinko was on the drums. And I also used my 17-year-old student to get on guitar with me. He's on Life is a Book doing all the fills at the end, and he's on Down Home Blues playing acoustic.
Well, how cool is that? Your protege becomes part of the current.
Oh, definitely. And this kid can really play, Adam Schultz. When I first saw him play, I let him sit in with me up in New York, and I thought I was watching myself, and it was an instant bond. I said, you know, he has all the mannerisms that I had when I was 15, and I totally gravitated to him. And I also forgot to add Tom Martin the harmonica player.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it freak
And
you out when you see someone that, reminds you of a path you were on, 30 years earlier? I mean, does it weird?
Oh, that just speaks to my whole existence, because to see a youngster like that there, like Adam, or any other, adolescent that's taking up the form of music or any of the arts, it's a very sacred place. And when you see a youngster doing that, then that just, with everything, all the distractions in the world, when I see them gravitating towards an art, especially music, my heart goes out to them. I love them right from the beginning.
I think because you, looking back, you have an appreciation for where they are. And
Definitely.
You also see a reward in your own existence, if that makes sense, yeah?
It totally makes sense. Totally. Yeah.
It's funny, I might be totally off the mark here, but the sounds I'm listening to and stuff, I don't know where your parents were from. I know there was some gospel in your growing up. I got a feeling that maybe sometimes you step away and play something completely different, just hanging out with people that's not like this. I don't know how well you know the town in Austin, Texas, but the 6th Street Cantina on a Wednesday night, you'll see the Babylonians or a band called Cilantro Boombox, where these very talented older guys jam in like a Afrobeat ska mode. Do you ever decide to just wander off and do anything different?
Oh my God, yeah. I used to be with a tribute Steely Dan band. I've done funk all my life. I grew up on James Brown, like you're saying, average white band. All the old 70s, the Meters, Sly and the Family Stone. I love funk. But my heart is really in the blues, and if I can combine the two, that's the sound that I'm still searching for that supreme sound. I haven't found it yet, but I'm getting close.
Well, you got plenty of time, because we've already decided that, you've got a voice of a 30-year-old. And I have to tell you, man, from the pictures I've seen, you're a very fit guy. So, like I said, whoever you're paying off, you're getting your money's worth.
Well, there's only one person. That's God, brother.
Yep, I know that routine, but seriously, it's good for you to stay that physically healthy, because you certainly look a good 20, 30 years younger than we both know you are, but we're not allowed to talk about that. No, it's good, but I just thought I could just see you jumping in doing something completely different and interesting, which brings me to detour back into a song not from this album. We're going to play one more in a minute. I want to go backwards a little bit and play a song that just occurred to me, because you mentioned the Average White Band, and we're going to play a song called King of Hearts, because when I first heard it, I said, oh my God, this is the next extension of the Average White Band track, When Will You Be Mine, that starts off with the most amazing bass twang intro, and then I've got recordings on my phone of me driving, grooving through the city of Atlanta with this song on full tilt. I will never, ever get tired. For 50 years, I've never tired of ramping it up. So I want the audience to hear you getting funky, and then we're going to come back to the album Surrender. So those of you that are late to the party, don't forget, if you want to get off without having to stay behind for detention, you can download a letter from my mom off the website, and if she approves you, then that's the only way you're going to get off for being late to the show. You're talking to Clarence Spady. We have been talking about and playing the album Surrender. We're going to take a little step back to let you hear something that he did previously.
This is John Cleary from New Orleans, Louisiana, and you're listening to UK Bob, the Good Morning Blues.
side. Got the heavens up above. Everything comes in time. Tonight's the night for love. I think love is in the air. If not, some roses will do. My aim is to ease your mind. If that fails, here's a poem for you. Cupid aimed his bow and pierced me with his dart. Changed a stone to soul and made me the king of hearts. All the pain you had in the past, all the tears you ever cried, and your heart is here at last. All your tears I kiss goodbye. Our love will age like wine. It'll keep a smile on your face. Don't worry about the time, babe. Just gets better day by day. Cupid aimed his bow and pierced me with his dart. Changed a stone to stone and made me the king of hearts. I'm the king of hearts.
Of Hearts from the album Just Between Us, and that was my average white band kick for today. So the other track that made me laugh when I saw the title, I've since found out, I didn't know this, it sounded it, but I since found out this was done live some years ago, and you added it in at the back end of the album, called the Jones Fall Expressway?
Yes, Jones Falls Expressway. That's an interstate if you're going down through Baltimore to connect you to Washington, so it takes you around the outskirts. But It's like being on the Autobahn. No one does under 90.
Well, I knew what it was because I tripped on it one day. I was going somewhere, had no reason to be on it just to get from A to B, but it's one of those really freaky roads that comes to a bizarre dead end, but it's an essential, like, what do you call it, a vein, a connection.
Yes, an artery.
An artery, that's the word I couldn't use, yeah.
And that is an artery that takes you around so you don't have to face off with the downtown traffic. But what you have to face off with is a truck barreling down at 95 with a full load, and you're trying to merge on to Jones Falls. And that's what happened with me and my keyboard player. You know, I toured with the Power Trio for 6 years. Mark Hamza playing Hammond B3 and pedal bass, and Shorty Parham on drums. And we almost got sandwiched in between the tractor doing 95 and the one doing 65 that wouldn't let us in.
Wow, that's not fun. Not on that road. Whoa.
Oh, my God, no. So when we got to the club and we were doing the sound check, Mark just started off on this G minor thing, and it fell into place, and that's how that song came about.
Well, I tell you, I don't think you could make it sound the same if you all got together, even if it's the next day, reminiscing about the night before or whatever, and went into a studio. I don't know that you could duplicate that feel. That I can't explain it. There was something going on when you hit record on that because what is it, 9-10 minutes long, and it just
it's like 11 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? And it's funny you said that because currently we're rehearsing for the Surrender show, putting that together. And when we get to Jones Falls, it's been different at every rehearsal.
Well, yeah, because that's how it feels. But I tell you, I will often try and take a passage from a song, particularly when it's a very long piece. I'll have to edit it because it allows me to play someone else's music, you know. But you asked Betsy, I played that track a couple of weeks ago, and I said, damn it, I'm going to play the whole thing.
Wow.
I couldn't find a spot where I would not feel guilty about cutting it, you know?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And that's Tommy Hamilton on sax, and he was riding the foundation everyone was laying down that day.
But I tell you what, when I was sitting letting that roll around the car, and he's doing his thing, I could feel his muscles just like I'm driving this damn truck.
Right. Yeah, that's basically what it was, and we all were feeling it. We all were feeling it, and I think Mark Hamza, God bless him, he's a great beat. He's one of those guys that just knows the B3 inside and out, as you could hear on that track, because he's getting tones and he's getting the percussive notes, and I'm like, oh man, you know, he's just a genius. It's my number one instrument. If I should be walking around Jazz Fest right now in New Orleans. It's where I'm always in April. I don't understand, you know, why my brain won't switch off from the fact that I got to wait till October. Jazz Fest to me, I will get drawn towards bands I've never heard of. It's two things. Yeah. A Hammond or a trombone, and I'm all over it. Oh, you're right. And especially down in New Orleans with the trombone. Oh, God, yeah. Like, you can't keep me away. And it's never ending. You know, all year long I'm listening to new music, and I realize that I'm just scratching the surface of what's being created. You know, the hardest part is since the internet in the last 20 years, everyone and their brother is making an album, you know. I think even my house cleaner came to me 15 years ago. Said, hey, Bob, do you want a copy of my new CD? You know, and that's unfortunate because whilst she's lovely and I'm sure it's a beautiful thing, it just fills the planet, and I've got to sift through so much more to find the good stuff. So thank God yours had a cover which made me go, that looks interesting. I need to see what that cover sounds like, and you know, and it's crazy, but that's a fact. I learned a long time ago the truth is the easiest thing to remember, and that's how I got drawn in. I think. But yeah, no, that's my hat off to Rob Lettieri on that there, because between Sally and Rob putting their heads together on the look. Sally especially was saying, you know, I'm the type, when I look at an album cover, if the cover doesn't get me, then normally I won't explore the music. Well, it's truth. You've got to be drawn to something, and it's visual. I don't care that we moved to CD and all the changes in technology over the years. You can't beat albums from a collectability point of view because it amplifies the visual to something wall-worthy. You don't put CDs on the wall, you know. So here's the weird thing. Guess what? The cassettes are making a comeback in London. Isn't that crazy? Are they really? Yeah, because the artists have figured out that Spotify can't host them. It's like God. Good old technology can come round and bite you in the bum, you know? Yes, so see, they can't do anything with it. So what they're doing is they're giving out their cassettes at their shows and selling cassettes because it's could be far, it's not impossible, but far more difficult for people to convert it into data and put it on websites. And that makes a whole lot of sense, right? So that's what they're doing. Right, well, so you know what? I still have a cassette player in my car, so kudos. In your car? Don't tell people that.
They know that you're driving a 70s Oldsmobile now.
That's okay. It's paid for. I don't like monthly payments. I have the title in my cigar box at home. I do not like monthly payments.
Oh, that's a trip. That's a trip. I tell you what. Before we run off, the last track we're going to play, we're going to go down the highway, and we're not going to crash at the end, but the audience is going to get to feel that, and I'll let you go. But I will tell you that I'm going to give you your next project now. Your project for 2022 is what you're going to put on the new 8-track that you're going to create.
Well, it's funny you said that because I was talking to Sally all this week. My plan is to go in and do a live acoustic album with a grand piano, upright bass, harmonica, and acoustic guitar.
Wow. Well, that would be really cool and different.
And we're not going to just keep it traditional blues. It's going to be, R&B based and back porch blues. So it's going to be eclectic, just like Surrender. I plan on using a few covers on that as well. I'm not sure which ones we're going to use. The one talk we were going to do the meters. And I said, I don't know, a couple people covered that. Let's cover something that a lot of people haven't covered.
Oh, you and I could make up my top 100 list of stuff that you would not only be superb at, but you would really dig it. For example, Just Kiss My Baby by the Meters.
Oh, yes. And everybody does Sissy Strut, so...
Yeah, that's it's got no vocals, so you'd be right on the money on that one. And there's a lot of untouched average white band. Okay, I think you and I need to meet and have a cup of coffee, and we'll exchange lists.
I'd fly down to Atlanta. It would be a double booking. We get a chance to holler at Grant, and I get a chance to hang with you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, look, buddy, terrific album. Well done to everybody concerned, you, the bands, and all the effort that goes into what it takes to be an artist today is so difficult. And God bless you for putting something out that is so worthy that it rides above all the junk that's out there, and to the point where I was able to find it, and here we are. So there you go.
I appreciate that, UK Bob. It was a pleasure talking to you and to the audience out there.
And
enjoy Surrender.
When the audience sees this young man with a young voice arrive to maybe do a show in the coming time, we'll just have to remind them that you've been on the planet a little longer than you look, but that's okay because you've got the brains to go with the fitness.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, especially when they see a head full of gray hair.
No, just tell them you've been painting. Tell them you've been painting your ceiling.
Yeah, right. It's a new dye that I tried, right?
Yeah. Well,
all the youngsters are dyeing their hair gray anyway. Mine came naturally.
No, what you do, you just tell them that, I'm sorry, my 5-year-old was painting, and, things happen when you have young kids. For sure. Hey, that was terrific fun. Thank you for being around and talking to us.
I enjoyed it immensely. Thank you so much.
And now for a Public Affairs Bulletin Board announcement. The Housing Justice League fights for renters and homeowners in Georgia for housing justice. If you are facing eviction, unfair fees, or bad living conditions, you are not alone. For information about your rights, the Tenant Power Hotline at 404-946-9953 for information about your rights and support to build power to fight back. To learn more about the Housing Justice League or to sign up to volunteer, the hotline at 404-946-9953 or the website housingjusticeleague.org. That's Housing Justice, LEAGUE.org. Public Affairs Bulletin Board announcement from your station for progressive information and hand-picked quality music. WRFG 89.3 FM, WRFG.org.
Of Clarence Spady's Jones Falls Expressway, a wonderful 10.5 minute long boogie of guitar, B3 and saxophone. I played the whole 10 minutes last week, so you know what it sounds like, but super duper stuff. We're going to finish up 3 more tracks for the end of the show. I got Sam Price and the True Believers with a brand new single from them. This is all New Orleans related. A tribute to Lloyd Price, who died at 88 last week. And I'm slipping one in that's got a Cajun taste to it, but it's actually Canadian, from Steve Mariner. I'll see you in a month.
Yeah. We keep the fear in the backseat, don't pay it no mind. When we're howling at the moon, we have ourselves a time. Ain't nobody trying to fight, cause we're living for love. We got the ground under our feet, blue skies above. Come on, wild thing.
In the moonlight, hey, we're singing in the sunshine. Oh yeah, then we're gonna do it all night. Gotta do it till it feels right.
All in all, the wild thing.
In the moonlight, hey, we're singing in the sunshine. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it all night. Gotta do it till it feels right.
We don't care what you look like, true beauty is within. Or the name of your God, or the color of your skin. Who you love and how you do it doesn't matter at all. 'Cause if you're here with us today, you're answering the call of the wild thing.
In the moonlight, here we're singing in the sunshine. Oh yeah, 'cause we're gonna do it all night. Gotta do it till it feels right.
Come on, all you wild things.
In the moonlight, here we're singing in the sunshine. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it all night. Gotta do it till it feels right.
Woo, woo, woo.
got to go. Oh, mailman, mailman, tell me what you got for me. Oh, mailman, mailman, tell me what you got for me. He said a long letter, brother, need your boss to see.
I guess I was about 13 or 14 years old. I stole in, and Dave was doing the prom out at Shines. Remember that, Dave? And Tommy Risley was singing. I said, God, man, if I could just do that, you know? And I always thought I could do it, but I didn't know how to play nothing. I couldn't play no piano, couldn't sing, still can't sing, but I understood how to make things work, you know what I mean? He said, come on down here to Cosmos. So I went down to Cosmos, and Dave was there, and the most embarrassing thing it was, after I sung the song for Dave and Art, Dave asked me what key it was in, and I thought he said about my house key, because what key, what is he talking about? He said, go over there and sing it to Fats, let Fats hear what you're singing, and that's where that great introduction came from. Dave put together, what he did that day, put together 2 minutes and 20 seconds that alerted the world that New Orleans was the capital of the big beat, with Earl Palmer, Fields, and Lee Allen, Herbert Artister, just some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful musicians right here from the Crescent City. From that day, where I did 2 takes on that song, I never heard a playback, did not recognize it when I heard it. My brother had to tell me, he asked me, is that you? You know, I had never heard myself sing. And that's something, Al? I had never heard. So when I heard it, I said, well, maybe that is me. He said, Lloyd Price from Kenner. Well, what I'm trying to tell you is, since that time, that song has been recorded 169 times by the greatest rock singers ever. If you sung rock and roll, you had to record Lord of Miss Claudia.
Down the road I'll go.
Petite chérie, qu'est-ce que vous faites ici? Je veux savoir si toi et moi on peut passer la nuit. Prends ma main, t'inquiète pas, et oublie ta misère. Je veux seulement qu'une petite danse sous la lune claire. Dansez, dansez, venez vous fêter. Une petite danse, une grande romance,